Brad.
Call the meeting in order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. RT, can I have a roll call, please?
Sure, Brian.
Here.
Lexi, here. Justin.
Here.
John.
Here.
Yeah.
Here, great, thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, aye. Motion carries. I will now open up the floor to citizen comment concerning anything on tonight's agenda. If anyone would like to approach the council. Outside of Brian, do we have anyone else on?
Nope. It's Brian.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and close the citizen comment and move to the consent agenda. Anyone have any questions from the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, aye. Motion carries. On to reports, parks and recreation. Stacy.
It's a lot of reports today. Do you guys have any questions on any of them? Got some tidbits, but.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about,
The resolution.
wait for the resolution on the track.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'll add my tidbits and then if you guys have any questions, you can let me know. I think one of the things, simulator, we had another roadblock. Thankfully, it doesn't put us down, so it is what it is. We just don't have a monitor for people to scroll and they just have to use the big screen as the monitor to use it. So it's still doable. It's just not ideal. They're sending a new one, still under warranty. I don't know what's happening. So just trying to troubleshoot, see why we're having issues with all components of said simulator. So thankfully, like I said, all under warranty. Sprinklers finally got fixed. That's a big one. We've been talking about it for way too long. Everything was working when they got blown out. So hopefully that is the case in the spring when they get turned back on. So we'll cross our fingers, but step in the right direction out there. So that is good. It said we're to talk about the flooring for the track when we get to the resolution, but one of the things we've also been talking for a very long time is the flooring around the gym and how I can't get anyone to actually give me a quote because I think it's a mystery on what's beneath it, right? Like that's the reality of our wonderful gym court. So during the remodel, we did do the drainage tile underneath to help with the moisture in the hopes that that fixes any moisture coming up from below. In talking to Commercial Flooring today, just more information about the track stuff, I talked to him about it. And I want sort of additional approval. He wants to do a 200 to 300 square foot block as like a trial. Framed it as not to exceed 5,000. He thought it would be drastically under, but just want to make it so that's for sure covered. And do a trial part, do a portion of a court or of the outside of the court, so not the court itself. That is the worst. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the tile. I don't know, it's weird. So they want to tear up a portion, put a new product in. He's still doing his homework as far as what exact product that will be. But to try it, let it set for, I don't know, months to see if it's something that's worth moving forward in its entirety. This is out of left field, haven't talked to anyone about it besides him. So just want to kind of get your thoughts on that.
It would be digging down or just tearing the flooring off and replacing the flooring?
So it would be tearing the flooring off. the truth is, we don't know what's right beneath it.
Right.
Why is the, what is it, VCT doing what it's doing? And so ideally, they tear it off, they put a moisture barrier down, and we wait and see. That's ideally what's gonna happen once they get that up. That's why I'm struggling to get anyone in.
He doesn't, go ahead.
Is it commercial flooring you want to put this floor in?
Initially, yes. Yes.
So would they have any record of anything that they ran into while they installed it?
He doesn't know. I mean, the problem is there's so many things that have happened downstairs that to say this is the root cause is so hard. So like I was going through it with him, like, yes, we think there's moisture below. We knew that they knew the ground was wet when they did it. That's why they put a moisture barrier down. Whether or not that's the reason or not, it's not working. We don't know. Many sprinklers have broken. Well, two sprinklers have that completely flooded the outside on the, what is the side on the racquetball courts? Last.
What's that?
North, and we'll go with north, side, there was a leak that people came into to a foot of water, 13 years ago, that was all over that, like, what is from above, what is from below? There's so many things that have happened that I think it's hard to pinpoint. Yes, he's the one that put it in, no, he has no idea why he's doing what he's doing. He's also the one that then repaired or redid the floors, what was it, 14 years ago, when they had issues initially. And same thing, like when they took up that flooring and then re-put down the flooring, there, to my knowledge, there was nothing wrong with the cement base. I don't, again, know what they're going to get, which is why but I feel like we have to try something. The reality is it doesn't look great. It hasn't looked great for a while. I think it needs to be replaced. I don't think it makes sense to replace it all without knowing if is it the right direction to take.
Did this, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna know in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
No, it's months.
5 years.
Yeah, well, yes, but at least we would have 8 months is better than doing the whole thing and not, Yes, the reality is yes.
Have you approached, I know you're saying it's very initial on this, he's saying not to exceed 5,000 in this trial.
Yep.
What would be the expectation for the entire floor?
So when
Maybe asked too far already.
Yeah, so I think the issue is what do they find, right? When I budgeted this year, I just randomly put 200,000 in as like a kind of like a not to exceed. When I was talking to another supplier last week and I asked him, because no one will give me a number, he was floating around, it depends what we go with, right? It depends what type of flooring we go. But he was thinking more closer to the 100,000 range, as long as we don't run into anything substantial with the base.
Every job.
Oh, 100%, but
We should have a feeling of that
Yeah.
by doing the sample.
correct. Correct.
So you're gonna have them sample like the worst part of the flooring?
That's
and
what my ask was, yes. So it might be another eyesore, but that was my ask, that we could do the worst part, to
Mhm.
ensure that we know.
Brian, you got something?
I like the idea of a trial area, a test area, because we don't know what's under there.
How big of a test area is he talking, like how many square feet, I guess?
He said 200, 300. I think it's just gonna depend on, once it gets in and, I mean, I think he thinks he's gonna come in drastically under 5,000. I think the thought is he's gonna use it as a selling tool that, okay, if this essentially passes the test, you'll get this job, right? Like, well, this is the product that we're going to use and this is how much this would be. And so he believes that he can get it drastically cheaper, but I just wanted something to
So what happens if it doesn't work?
plan B.
Just let you know tomorrow?
Like I said, he's doing his homework. He knows, like, we had the conversation. He's like, you've been talking to me with this for years. And I'm like, I know. Like, it's just, it might be a trial and error. It might be trying like, different moisture barriers. It might be trying different floors. Like it definitely, just because we do it once and we pay this doesn't mean that it's for sure going to be the solution. Obviously, that's the hope.
It needs to be fixed, in my opinion. I mean, we've got to do something. Seems like that might be the best option.
Smaller section.
Okay, at this point, just instruct Stacy to proceed.
Well, the next leads into questions about the,
We'll do track when we get there.
right, I just, but my point is just what time, I mean, like,
Yes.
I would prefer that to be done again in summer.
So the hope, honestly, with that, the hope was to do it as soon as possible so that we have the winter. The downtime, the thought was the worst part is on the backcourt. So while it'd be done, it would be a quick thing. It's not like it would take them weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, like the track would. He said conservatively 2 days because he doesn't know what he's gonna find. But theoretically, he could be in and out, come in early, be done by the end of the day, as long as all goes as planned. Worst case, it would go into that next day. I told him if we did it 2 weeks out, we could not reserve the backcourt portion while we do that. Again, he's not worried about safety. He was going to put up barriers to make sure that no one could get in, and if they get in, they're just on cement floor. There's not going that could someone
On the edge,
could
not like
theoretically
it's
get
gonna-
hurt with.
Stretch out into a
Correct.
court.
Correct. I mean, if we truly are that worried about it, there's, Crossroads has some barriers that we can, put there so that you really can't get through. Like, we could figure something out so that for that patch that no one could get through. To me, it would be worth it to get the extra 4 or 5 months in. Should theoretically possibly be able to do it when we're slower. It's my 2 cents.
I think you want it sitting through the spring. I think you want.
Right, I mean,
That was my thought. If we do it now and we wait.
I just know that this is the busy time that's being used by the rec center.
In January, I mean, it's busy now. It's gonna get busier as we keep going. Yes, you're not wrong. The reality is we no longer have a slow time. Like, I mean, there was, when I first got here, it was dead May, June, that no longer exists. And so there is no more quote unquote good time. Yes, it is slower. So, I mean, that I've been struggling with. I didn't bring this to you guys a year ago for this exact reason, or as far as the track, for the exact reason, because there was no good time. There's no good time to close down.
Some of those.
Good. They proceed.
We're good with this as soon as possible, or we're good with,
The sooner the better.
perfect. The only other thing, sorry.
Go ahead. Nope, you're still on.
Was Kelly Oaks. There was an update specifically for that too, to kind of give you an idea where we're standing each step. I would think, or I'd say, to say we're frustrated with the playground, and I say we're is an understatement. I think, still waiting on the parts. I think Dean took over the communication with the company, and it hasn't gone any better. So we're still waiting for those parts to be able to finish the playground. Essentially poles to put in the ground for, additional support for the slides is what we're waiting for, and they've been told they're shipped. I don't believe they've been shipped. Shipped 1st of November. So yeah, I guess continue to stay on them. It's a waiting game. At this point, I don't know how we get the port in place before the winter. Unless we have some nice days, Mr. Ford. But the good part is we'll for sure be able to get it first as soon as we open. They'll put us top of the list to be able.
Concern about it getting damaged to the winter, not being completely done.
The playground itself,
Yeah, I mean, any of
I'm
the stuff
not-
over there.
I was gonna say, I'm not worried about the playground itself as far as.
I wouldn't be concerned about subgrade. That's gonna get destroyed anyway when they come in, or essentially when they come in to finish the supports. So. I have a real big concern on that end, just more frustrated.
And then I think the big thing is the next parks meeting, we're bringing the architect engineer to start the ball rolling for. So that's exciting. That's all I got, unless you guys have questions on top.
Any questions? Thanks, Stacy. Moving on to the chief, report.
Yeah, you guys got my report. I guess one thing I wanted to stress to you guys with the Verena Drive, you guys told me to kind of watch speeds. I put that, excuse me, radar sign, mobile speeds trailer sign there. And what we got back is 24.48 miles per hour, which is right at speed limit. We're doing fine with that. Honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with the S curve in there, that curve that slows people down through there. But overall, it's been relatively good. We'll continue monitoring it, but so far so good.
I don't know if this is a question for you or Dean, but the other night I was driving around down over there. And it seems like from like Leslie Drive to the apartments, it seems that section dark, really dark.
So there were some lights out down there. I don't know if a light.
So they've been fixed, but,
Almost like where our access road is to it seems really
the
dark.
lift station,
Yeah, it seems really dark there. Maybe it's just my
might be
imagination.
something we might have to consider placing another light.
Take a look at it. See what you thought.
Definitely check that out in the morning.
Yeah, I'm imagining it.
Speaking of lights.
Oh, yeah, speaking of lights,
Good lead in.
good lead in. I had to know, John and Turk, Mike Light. Have you got any comments about the light in the police station parking lot?
No.
Facing, okay, so I just recently noticed, because I've been doing a lot of like third shift caterings. And when you're heading north on Piazza Street, it seems like it is directly out, like a 90-degree angle light, like right in your eyes.
When you're on Piazza Street.
When you're heading north, so it would be the one that's on the corner right by
Yeah, I know
where
which one
Shane's
you're
house
talking
was.
about.
And I didn't look at it in the daylight to see if maybe it's not angled appropriately but then I thought that too, and then someone else just commented to me this week and asked about it.
So I mean, it's something we could possibly, Dean, we can go up there and adjust
Maybe
it.
just, yeah, maybe just
Adjust
when
it,
you,
go over just a little bit to get it off.
yeah,
off
it just
the
seems
Piazza
like it's
Street a little
right
bit.
at you.
Yeah, I guess I've not had any comments on it yet, so.
And I just know, I don't really go out after dark, but it's getting dark early now.
This is stretching my time right
I know,
now.
it's
I'm
getting
telling
dark early now and late night catering, so I just noticed it, but
Yeah.
it does seem odd.
Okay.
So to add to that, Lexi.
Yeah.
And maybe this is just me, but I noticed when I paid attention to it originally the first time that I was focused on that light. If you actually focus on the street, I don't think it's quite as bad.
Yeah, maybe,
That's just my opinion.
maybe because it's new and I'm like,
So,
oh, light.
I mean, we can definitely
Like a month.
adjust, we can definitely adjust it.
Come
We're trying to benefit from that light.
Yeah,
Right.
In multiple reasons. Why was Brian made the comment that the intersection down there was a little bit dark.
dark,
So, you know, we tried to tweak it as much as we could to get it over top of the sidewalk.
yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit too far, so we can definitely adjust that.
Pay attention to
Could
the
just
road.
Could just be.
I see insurance.
No,
That was me.
No, I mean,
The straight road,
I mean, quite honestly, like I say, I was afraid of that originally. So I did, and I focused on the light, and yes, I thought it was blinding.
and I
But if
never.
you actually, you know, focus on the actual road,
Yeah.
not the light so much.
Alright, I'll put something on board.
Take a light.
But no, we can definitely.
What's the light glancing off your cell phone?
No, it's probably like. further.
They are pretty bright though. I think
They are bright.
Yeah, if it's a request.
They're great.
They're great lights.
Yeah,
Yep. All right.
I just won't go out after dark, it's fine.
Done.
Complaints, let us know, 'cause we'll get it answered.
Parade's going a different way home now.
Yep, we're gonna take a loop through the roundabout on our way home. All right, that was it.
All right. Anything else for the chief? All right, thanks, chief. We will move on to public works. Dean, if you would.
Questions at all on anything on the report? Just a couple things, to add, I mean, here in the next couple months, up until, you know, holiday season, we're really gonna try to hammer on some, meter change outs. Try to simplify them reads. In addition to that, I think it had mentioned for me, at the work session about, the compost, got that chipping guy coming in. Process that material. Not sure how good of a material it's gonna be in the end results, just because it's all sticks. It's not necessarily the logs and stuff that's gonna chip out nice, but we can definitely see what it looks like after he processes it the first time. And if it's gonna make something, maybe I'll have him do it again. So within that cost that he said 18 to 2,000, you know, that he could run it through the mill twice at, you know, to stay under that $2,000 range yet. So, yeah. But other than that, yeah, just trying to button up some loose ends here before our up and coming season, and, yeah, just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So
When do the Christmas lights go up?
after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I really like them.
I like it. Thanksgiving.
Even though it's late this year.
When Dean's out putting the Christmas lights up, he can swing by our houses and string the side business for the cities.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want.
What do we get involved in now?
Let's get together for, no, it's not volunteer. We're gonna put a bid together.
Are we-
I understand 5,000 is the going rate.
I just want to remind you, yes, it's recorded.
Yes. We know. All
I
right.
have a question for
Yes.
Dean, maybe it's for Dean or Mike. Has there been any feedback on the new stop signs on Cox Springs and Juliana?
I've not heard anything.
Good.
Nothing, haven't heard no negative or positives on it, Brian. So I'm
Good.
assuming it all's good.
I think they're great. That's good to hear.
More stop signs.
I mean, honestly, I haven't heard no complaints about it. I mean, I think,
I haven't either.
I think it's a great thing.
I've had a couple of people say that they gave me a hard time to begin with, but they're like, no, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and cause I said, if you had kids crossing that, you'd be all in support of it.
Absolutely.
But like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, they're over it now.
It's just normal now.
That's good.
So.
I think in reality, just probably slow down the complaints on the speed as well.
They did.
So,
Yeah. And I'll be giving those reports next month or whatever on speeds and times, but yeah, it's definitely doing that.
All right, thanks, Dean. Very we. have-
No, I did not receive anything,
not
Steve.
mentioned. Mayor's report, I would like to just use this time to have a discussion about the December meeting. Usually we do just one. Our current meeting will be scheduled for December 10th. And we have our two staff members are out of town that day that are in attendance over here. And
Be this side of the room.
this side of the room. So a discussion about having it on a different day. I don't know what, I know it's holidays and everyone's scheduled, but actually moving into the 17th, I have plans on the 17th, so Justin could be in charge, so. But
Just need three here to get the business taken care of. We'll make sure the agenda's light.
Can we do it on the work session day, on the fourth,
not a work session.
not a work session?
Sure.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yes.
Problem with that, would that be too long of a span without another meeting till January?
We'll have to process claims again at some point, so pushing it back a week would give us another week, but we'll still have to process claims the last week of December, so we'll need someone to come in and review those and sign off on them so we can send them out. And then they'll go on the first January meeting for final approval on the consent agenda.
Again, about not having an extra, meeting, but I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
The 4th to
Till
January, whatever, is that too long of a span?
Could we move to the 11th? Or are you guys still out of town? Or, yeah.
And not the rest of the week.
Okay.
I'm out of town that whole week. I'm on vacation.
What if we move it to the 4th, we actually have, a city council meeting the prior week. So it puts things close together.
17th bad.
Hey, I'm just saying for me, I wouldn't be attending,
What about like,
but as you went on, I don't have a vote in it.
what about like the 18th?
Monday.
Oh,
I'm out of town.
I'll be here.
I'm out of town the whole week of the 9th.
I'll be here.
Wednesday, the 18th,
We just,
Wednesday, the 18th, or Monday, the 9th. What are you thinking, Justin?
we can do it whenever.
I think the 9th you're running into the work session
Right,
just on
yeah,
the
then
4th.
basically we need 3 council members.
I'm available the 4th or the 18th or whatever.
17th,
I just- Whatever. I just,
Do you want to just move it to the 17th at this point?
That's fine.
Sure. Okay,
Okay, I can't be here.
Fine.
you can't be here to the
No,
17th?
I have catering that day.
Okay.
3 shifts, but I can, the fourth.
Brian?
Either do I can't make it 17th.
I can make the 4th or the 17th, any of those dates you've talked about work.
So the rest of you can't have to be here.
I can't, I won't be there.
Okay. So Kirsten, Jeff and Brian, as long as we have those three.
Jeff, Brian and Justin.
Did you say you could make them?
Yeah, he
he
can, we
yes.
make that.
I thought you said you couldn't.
All right, so for now, we'll move it to the 17th.
Okay.
Now we're
Okay.
keeping our work session on the fourth.
And work
Yes.
session on the.
Got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, holidays are hard. Resolution, we'll move on to the resolution approving Mohawk application for right of way use. They do this every year. We've always approved it. Anyone have any?
We never have any problems with it.
No, absolutely not.
This is a private one, right? Because all the public trails are now part of registration,
Correct.
so they don't need approval for anybody to use. Okay,
Mike, you don't have a problem with this?
Nope.
we've never had issues with it.
Never had issues.
Snow.
That might be true.
Hopefully it's.
Yeah, you're gonna need snow.
Yeah.
Snow, a lot of snow.
No. Them hawks can stay right in the shed.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution approving the Snowhawks application for right of way use.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Try.
Jeff,
Motion carries. Next up, resolution approving the removal of the PCC walking track existing floor and base along with furnishing and install recycled rubber flooring and base paint line, seal the floor. Now we're back to Stacy for this discussion.
Yes. Okay, so I think the initial. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit. So when I got quotes last year for this from different companies, they all came in around the $75,000 range. When I got updated quotes recently, the other quotes from Target went up $29,000 from last year to now. This is why I wanted to bring it in front of you guys as soon as possible, because I'm fearful of the same happening to this quote. So initially, yes, I would love to just get it done. The thought was to close out portions of the track so that we could keep it open. I know there's safety concerns, and if that's the way we want to go, my recommendation would still be to approve, so that he could purchase the floor, so that's locked in. When I talked to him today, he cannot guarantee what it's going to be in May, June, anything, in terms of how much it could go up, how much freight could go up, all the things. But he was willing to store for us if we purchase now, and then his rates won't change. So essentially, we're locking in the 71,000 versus taking the risk of this one jumping as well. So, I mean, that would be my recommendation. I understand there's no good time, like I said before, there's no good time to, regardless, we're going to upset people, regardless, it's whatever. Been trying to think of anything else we could do, you know, is there if we partition it off, he said it'd be 2 weeks. If we don't partition it off, he said it'd be about a week and a half. I was looking at the banquet room calendar. Could we change the track from, that to the banquet room until the track is done, whatever. Like, there is no week and a half span where it is not used. There's no good solution to quote unquote move it that works at all times. So we're gonna, cross the bridge eventually. It's whether it's now, whether it's in May, June, when we slow down a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, major is fine, but I'd still highly recommend purchasing it now.
I think the May or June, I think everyone knows, I mean, at least the weather's decent outside. I know there are people who are not, don't walk outside.
Correct.
It's like, but they can. Right. And I know, Justin brought up, also have treadmills. Right. So there are other options, and as you stated, Stacy, we're not gonna make everybody happy.
No,
But
no.
we're gonna have to get it done. I like the idea of if we can buy it now and kind of lock into where the number is and not wait and see and then, throw another, 15, 20,000 on there. So I would be in favor of moving forward with approving that contract.
Yeah, I like the idea of buying it and then put it in May, June or whatever.
Yeah. Kind of like what we did with the playground equipment, right?
Except he's not starting at this time.
Then I will need a motion now to approve that action.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution removal of PC one, track existing floor and base along with furnishings, install recycled rubber flooring, purchase today and install May, June, whatever the schedule looks like.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. That resolution approving pay estimate number 4 submitted by Conley Construction for the Kelly Oaks Park multi-use trail project. I understand this has been reviewed and is recommended. Any questions of Dean on this or?
We waiting on final yet? Or is this final?
That will be the remainder of the project, with the exception of retainage.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve pay estimate number 4 submitted by Conley Construction for the Kelly Oaks Park multi-use trail project.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. We have a resolution setting the public hearing to amend ordinance Title 9 concerning animals to set for. Did we want to?
November 26th,
The
ladies.
26th, thank you.
motion resolution setting public hearing to amend ordinance Title 9, General Regulations, Chapter 91, Animals. Public hearing set for November 26th.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. A resolution setting a public hearing for ordinance amending Title 15, Chapter 157 subdivision regulations, minimum requirements. This again, we discussed at our work session. We are looking to set a public hearing for November 26th.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution setting public hearing for ordinance amending Title 15, Chapter 157 subdivision regulations, minimum requirements for November 26th.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John, I,
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. So, resolution approving the final plat Royal Oaks East 8th Edition subdivision of Lot A of Oak Park Estates number 2. John is here from Origin. If you have questions of him at this time.
Coming out of these basins, it's gonna be actually better than what they have right now. As far as that, I'll just say that Steve Thompson said he had a unit in the storage unit, said if I ever flooded it, I'd be in trouble, so. So there's a 24-inch pipe going through that area down there. The outlet that we have is only a 12 to that area, so a 24 will handle about 4 times as much water as we're heading that way from it. So we're sensitive to that. There'll be an area in the southeast corner, next to the tracks on the southeast corner. And that's considerably large and not very deep. And so that flows to the railroad tracks area and then kind of heads further east. That as well is cut down considerably. The backyards have basically, it's designed such that these are walkouts as much as possible. And that you have drainage go to the backyards. The grading is organized such that there is a drainage channel on the back lot line. And we have a 20-foot wide drainage easement for the entire lengths of those lots where it's feasible to have that. Basically those will be graded completely when it's ready for lot sale after all the roads are put in and such. There was also a note at P&Z about not having access onto Ione Drive. And let's see, if you look at your sheet there, lots 9, 10, 27, and 28. It's proposed that those houses have their driveways off of the side streets. That'd be either ISA or Cashel. That's just so that, hey, if there is ever any problems with a backyard storm sewer plugging, gets free on a culvert entrance, whatever it is, some kid has their tent in the backyard and gets blown over the top of it, who knows what might happen. But water overflow basically just goes on to Ione Drive and nobody gets any water in their house or basement or whatever. And you can basically, by not having their driveways out on that site, it's a good thing. So we're covering with stormwater easements and culverts and drainage. You have to responsibly handle drainage for this project. There is an area where they're going to be grading on the north side of Cashel. It's from Ginger Drive on the south side there. Those backyards, really, it's not desirable to sell in its current condition where the backyard slopes down toward the lot. So we're going to put basically some backyard drainage in there. Going to tie a storm sewer to Ginger Drive between lots 6 and 7 there. See that on the first sheet where lot 6 and 7 is on there. That area does currently drain to it, so we're not sending more drainage there. It already does. Lots 45 to 48. In that area, we're going to send some drainage east there to a future development area. And there will be some temporary detention that we'll put off in the valley down there. We didn't want to send all that water south, or we didn't want to send it to Ginger. And it's after discussions with the city, Dean recommended that don't send any more water that way. So we're going to send it east down the hill to temporary detention until we can basically figure out, okay, how should the rest of that be developed? And regrade it and put storm sewer pipe that's permanent in there. It's just too early to decide exactly what that shape's look like over there this time. Had everything on the list I wanted to mention.
Yeah, just one of the other contingencies was the stormwater counts.
Yeah, and I sent a summary to Steve earlier today, and I can go over that with him thoroughly.
Oh, good. I thought you were gonna go over here. I'm like, please
No,
don't.
no. What I'm saying is, it's not a problem. We've oversized the detention basin such that, you know, you basically, you compare your pre to your post, your 2-year, your 25-year, your 100-year, and you make sure that well, we've actually cut that in half at least. Well, people are, you know, we're more than meeting the requirement.
Are you doing some sort of settlement bond along with that detention that runs to the east of 48?
It's basically gonna have a 12-inch riser on it, like a Hickenbottom thing. And there'll be, it'll be considerable settling of, you know, the riser pipes coming up. It's gotta go over the top in order to get in it. Holes in the side. I think we planned on 12 1-inch holes per foot on a HDPE riser and a cage on the top of that for that temporary area.
You're my man.
There is the connection for sanitary sewer from the northeast to the corner of Ginger and Ione. And I don't know what the recent weather kind of turned compared to what it used to be with the water, but there was a plan initially to try to connect in with the sanitary and get that going and replace, basically put the concrete back at the intersection. Try and get that done yet before the snow flies. I haven't heard their latest schedule on that, however. It would be closing the street intersection down on either side of Ginger and Ione in order to accomplish that. Dean was saying just pull the concrete out to the joint, the street joints. And then connect it, backfill, rock down, put that back in concrete.
Anything else?
I guess my one question would be Lot E as a future park. Is that gonna be donated to the city eventually, or what is?
I believe so. Yeah, it's kind of a flatter, it can be a flatter area. It's D is detention south of that, you know, the other is just.
Lot E, look on sheet 2. E off, thanks for driving.
Just a question, is there a provision for sidewalks throughout this subdivision?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, my apologies, Brian, I didn't have John come to the front, so you probably haven't caught much of what he said.
no, I can hear John pretty well.
Okay, and he did mention sidewalks throughout, except for there was one section.
Lot 2.
Okay.
That it didn't really have good accessibility, and they're talking about 6-foot sidewalks.
Good, might have been when I went dark for a little while, sorry about that.
That's all right.
So sidewalks would normally be 5 feet, except for one location, the thoroughfare on Isa.
Okay.
South side.
Thanks for the clarification on that.
And I have a conceptual question. This might not be for John, but it's more for my curiosity. Given the fact that we're engaged in the housing study, is the intent of this subdivision all to be single-family dwellings, or are we planning anything else?
No, actually, there's a note on there, lots 1 through 54 are R1, single family. 55 through 80 are R2, which will include townhouses and duplexes.
Good,
Everything's
Okay.
south, so drive.
Thanks, Justin.
thanks. Yeah, good.
So you can hear me.
Yep, that's all. Stop.
Got no other questions for John?
Make a motion to approve the final plat of Royal Oaks East 8th Edition subdivision of Lot A of Oak Park Estates number 2.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I'm gonna drop off that final signature.
Yeah, we'll bring up the general.
Next up, ordinance approving the rezone of parcels 141140004 and 141140005 owned by MM LLC from A1 to C2, third reading.
We gotten anything back from anybody on this?
No, I made a notation in the notes that there's not been anyone with any complaints or comments.
Alrighty.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning of parcels 141140004 and 141140005 from A1 to C2. Third reading.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. I will need a motion to adopt said ordinance.
I'll make a motion to adopt said ordinance.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. This time I will open the floor up for citizen comment about any item that anyone wants to approach the council concerning. All right, and I will need a motion to adjourn.
Make motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, I.
Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining, Brian. Good night.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian.
You bet.
Good morning.
Should be back to Piasta by this weekend if all goes well. So
Good, all right, safe travels.
thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks.
See you later.